Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Bryan Tann, and this is another edition of Tann Talks. And that's all the fanfare you get this
Whoa.
week.
Whoa.
Whoa, whoa, nah, 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 nah. That's all the fanfare you get because we are in a transitional period right now. Our Last of Us episode that aired last week, or was it this week? I'm so confused. Was it this week? Yeah, we did it this week. I'm sorry, all the days blur together anymore. Anyway, so our Last of Us episode was the last time that we were going to go on our previous platform. We are in the process of adjusting things, so we'll be back to the fancy fanfare later. But you're not here for the little fancy fanfare. You're here for the Mandalorian discussion. And that's what we're here. That's what we're here to give you guys tonight. So, of course, I'm Bryan Tann, the host of Tann Talks. And I've got two of the awesomest co-hosts in the biz today as we talk Star Wars and pretty much anything and everything else that we go to talk about here on Tann Talks. We got Melinda D and Katy M. Ladies, how are you this week?
Not too bad.
You get the head nod. That's about that. I did it at the same time. That's about all you get right now.
Yeah, that's fair. That's very, very fair. Oh boy. So I'll tell you what, I'm still a little bit kind of nodding and taking in all of the shock that everyone felt with the season finale of The Last of Us. I'll tell you, Katy, have you started watching The Last of Us at all yet?
Yeah.
You know what though? We were wrong. I have to go on record and say we were wrong. Those giraffes were not CGI. Those were giraffes.
I was totally shocked by that as well. I would have thought that getting regular giraffes would have been way too expensive. And you know, when animals attack, and who wants to get hoofed down on by like a 22-foot tall horse?
Yep.
But alas.
But not CGI. So we were wrong.
Yeah, so there you go. I think I'd rather get my ass beat by a CGI horse than an actual one. Although apparently some poor schlub here in Ohio almost got his arm bitten off by a zebra.
Well, it's Ohio. What do you expect?
It's true. But I mean, I did not have man has arm bitten off by zebra on my 2023 WTF bingo card.
But you get that free space in the middle.
That's true. So I'll take it. So
it's
I'll take it. There you go. Apparently, and then they had to put the zebra down because, well, then it turns out that the zebra was trying to protect. I think they said they think that the zebra was trying to protect the females or something. I don't know. But apparently in Ohio, zebra is not considered an exotic animal. It's not just a striped horse. It's a zebra. Two completely zebras are not domesticated creatures for riding and petting. Okay. They're like the closest thing to unicorns we have in this plane of existence. Oh my God.
Sorry, not exotic enough.
Fair enough.
But ferrets are illegal because they're super exotic.
That tracks. Why not?
Yeah. Well, that just
hang on. Let me go get my pet narwhal.
Yeah. I still remember there was a guy not too far away from where I live now, and apparently his pet alligator got loose, and his name was Chomp. And he was like, the Chomp was like taking out like animals around the Monongahela River, and it's like, I don't know what happened. Chomp just got out of his cage, and it's like, because he's an alligator.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well, but we're here to talk about people and their misgivings and bad interactions with animals. We're here to talk the Mandalorian.
It could be a mythosaur though. Mythosaur, alligator.
I think I'd rather have a mythosaur because at least then I know that prosperity is coming. But then again, I'm also not Mandalorian that I know of, but I could be.
If you were, they would just bait and switch you with a whole different other plot.
Yeah, that's true. And let's get in on that.
I'm a little salty, okay?
I am, you know what? I am too. As soon as I started watching this episode, I was like, huh. So I guess Mando is getting some payback thrown his way for what he did to the Book of Boba Fett. Because he literally just rolled into Boba Fett's show. Wow.
Nice.
That's why Melinda loved this episode, because she was happy to see Djarin get a little bit of what was coming to him after he just ransacked all over Boba Fett's show.
We're gonna use that though. We're gonna call it from now on Boba Fetting when you hijack the show for a completely other plot.
Yeah. Like, was this supposed to be like a backdoor pilot of like the like general politics of Star Wars?
I think part of it is when they had to scrap or put on hold the one that they were going to have, what's her name in?
Yeah.
Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka? No, not
No,
that
the other one with the
Yeah, her.
Why can't I remember her name?
Cara Dune.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
She Who Shall Not Be Named.
Yeah, when they have to scrap her show.
The character's not a problem, the actress is, but
Billy Bob Shapiro's new bestie.
Sure. But I if you remember, like, see, this is where I'm going to disagree before we even get into it, right? I'm going to go out and say I have a completely different opinion about this than y'all do.
All right. Well,
this is like
give
the
us your
Last of Us episode, right?
Okay.
There was one episode when we were doing that where I'm like, they have somewhere to go. They've got a story they need to tell, and this is going to be important later, but you got to go through the unrelated, kind of bizarre, weird pacing to get the background. Here's what we need to set up for the rest of this season to work.
Already minutes though of really slow.
Yeah, we got
not always making the most sense.
For a 52-minute episode, we got maybe 12 total minutes, maybe of Boba. I mean, not Boba. See, they Boba Fetted. They Boba Fetted. We got a couple of minutes of Djarin and Bo-Katan and the other Mandalorians, and all the rest of this was political drama on Coruscant.
My lights were supposed to light up. They didn't light up.
Well, that's heartbreaking. Kind of like
they dangled the mythosaur in front of us and then went, let's go somewhere else now.
And Bo-Katan,
and I think there's a baddie coming, right? That we
I know exactly.
I don't think it's gonna be Moff Gideon. I think that's a red herring.
It's either going to be Thrawn or Gideon. It's going to be one of the two.
So then they're setting up the Ahsoka show.
Right. And it's like, who is she working for? That was the carrot at the end of the string they have to dangle, but they can't just do that and then go, let's go back to Djarin and the Baby Yoda show, or now, as I'm calling it, the Bo-Katan show.
Well, that dude, that's what badass women do, though. They show up and take over shows. Like, pretty soon, you two are going to be doing Tann Talks, and I'm just going to be like the producer. I'll just be the producer.
We would never do that to you.
Not to your face, anyway.
There you go. See, there you go.
Okay,
that's my different opinion right out there. Is
in their weird little takeaway that they did, the things they were doing didn't make a lot of sense either. Like, we open with, is it Dr. Pershing? Is that how you say his name?
Dr. Pershing, yeah.
Giving a TEDx talk.
Yeah.
About his research that he's not allowed to do. So why is he giving a talk to so many people about research he's not allowed to do? If it was an apology speech, that would be one thing. But he's like showing the DNA and all this and talking about what he was doing and why he was doing it, for him not to be allowed to do it.
I think one part of it is that he can tell them, look, this is all the misguided crap that I did was when I was with the Empire. But this is what I could also bring to the table for the New Republic. If you just let me in. Come on, guys.
But
please.
He was already given an assignment within the amnesty program. You see, he's got his cubicle. He's already got his work that he's supposed to be doing, and he's being denied the ability to do more. So why then was he given the big old TED Talk?
How hilarious is that, though, to go from being this doctor?
Like, did that happen in that order, though? Because almost right after that the Tann Talk, the TEDx talk, they were it was welcome to the amnesty program. So that
welcome
almost struck
to
me
the
as
program.
like your last.
Look, they were congratulating him. The rich patrons were congratulating him.
I'm coming into the program, and then we meet all of he's being introduced to the housing and the other people that are part of this amnesty program. So that struck me more as almost like that last interview that you have to do for a new job, but it really doesn't matter.
You have to kiss up to all the rich people that donate. You have to suck up to all the donators.
They're laying really fast and loose with the timing, because it seemed like he gave the talk, but he was already in the program, because he would have had to be, what was that center they said they went to initially?
Oh, they're
afraid of going back to. So he's already been through all of that.
He's already been through a whole lot
and
of
he's
stuff.
got his assignment and all of this. Like, They're either playing
This-
super
reason
fast and
they
loose
do
with the
that.
timeline, or they did that just to give us the view of Coruscant because they want to see how special it looks now,
Yeah.
I'm so
which
sick
still
of Coruscant.
plot-wise doesn't
I'm
make
getting
sense.
so sick of Coruscant too. Like, can we just chalk Coruscant up as another Skywalker? Because I'm tired of Skywalkers, I'm tired of Solos, and I'm tired of Coruscant. I want to see these other planets. I want these other stories. Every time they start to give me the other stories, they suck me back into Coruscant.
All right.
Well,
Well,
like I
let's be
said,
fair,
they
though.
dangled a mythosaur in your face and then went, "Hey, let's go to Coruscant."
Season 1, most of season 1 takes place on Tatooine.
Yeah,
For a chunk of it.
Yeah, but see, I don't mind Tatooine because
Why not? That's
Tatooine,
where the Skywalkers were. And
Because-
the sand, and it gets
I'm
everywhere.
Because
personally
there's-
done with
because
Tatooine
there's-
too.
well, because there's so many stories that can be told on Tatooine from the underworld side that we don't hardly ever get to see. We got to see it for like 15 minutes in Return of the Jedi. If you watch the original, you didn't get the underworld, you just got Mos Eisley.
There's an
and that's
underbelly of
about it.
Coruscant, too. They just haven't given it to us.
And that's the thing. Now, if you give me a story that stays in the underbelly of Coruscant, I'm happy. I want to see that stuff. I want to see a crime drama in the Star Wars universe with these people. They give it to me and then they take it away. I'm sorry, the
Isn't that
best
what
part-
Andor is?
I haven't watched Andor.
I haven't watched it.
And Andor is more Andor, from what I'm understanding, since it's supposed to be like the rise of the rebellion. That sounds
Oh,
like
okay.
political crap.
It is. It's
Like-
mostly. It's really
I haven't watched it.
slow to watch.
The Bad Batch for me is probably the best of the IP that's out right now because it's at least pseudo different, and you're getting these ragtag the cast-offs from the clone program, and you're seeing all of this stuff. This is why I love the animated series so much better, because they're not afraid to tell the better stories.
Mhm.
They tell, like, that's why I love the Bad Batch so much. Like, I thought Rebels and Clone Wars were my favorite additions to the Star
I
Wars
loved
mythos.
Rebels.
I loved Rebels so much. And the only reason why I loved Clone Wars is because I love seeing the stories of the war and the stuff that you didn't get to see and they only alluded to in the movies.
Mhm.
But I'm telling you, man, Bad Batch is my jam. I really love that. It's almost like DC. They suck with movies anymore. Their live action TV shows, you've got to really sort of get rid of the love that you have for your favorite DC characters. Like the Arrowverse, as much as I enjoyed the Arrowverse, you got to forget what you love about those characters from the comics and appreciate the show. You have to separate the two. But the DC cartoon shows, highest of quality. Same with the Star Wars.
They'll never
animated
touch the animated series. The Batman animated series is like the pinnacle of their.
It absolutely is.
their
And I
animated
think,
stuff.
and I feel like right now the Bad Batch is becoming the pinnacle of the Star Wars IP.
Well, there's new DC out now too.
Yeah, I mean, some of the stuff is,
Gotham.
Gotham Knights.
Yeah,
Or
Mitch
whatever.
Collins is in it, so I'll be watching it. But
I love Harley Quinn. I love the Harley Quinn show that's on HBO Max. I love that show so much.
we have had words about that.
Yeah. Now
And
that now
Continued feelings
now
about
this
Harley Quinn.
and now this should tell you guys, like, literally the feeling on chapter 19, the convert. We are seriously Boba Fetting the Mandalorian reaction show with every other thing, because now so we're talking about, so this whole political thing that's going on, basically this doctor, he wants to continue his cloning project and his cloning procedure because he wants to help the Republic. He has been indoctrinated to being in the Republic.
Re-indoctrinated.
Re-indoctrinated to the Republic. And that's when he ends up running into Elia Kane, played masterfully by Katy O'Brien. We last saw her in season 2 of The Mandalorian. She was Moff Gideon's top dog.
I could not remember who she was when they showed that clip of who she was. I'm like, who? Like, I don't remember her.
Dude, the first thing I thought when I
I
saw
remember
her,
the doctor, but not her.
you know what? I remembered her over the doctor because I remember seeing her and I was like, you know what? She'd have made a good Cara Dune.
Yeah, I could
She
see
would
that.
have made a great Cara Dune, I think, because I don't think, and at first, when you first meet her in season 2, she's that robotic monster type character. But in this, you got to see a softer side of her,
But it was fake.
but it was all fake. She was probably the best part of this episode. Her acting was so amazing. And yo, man, shout out to Katy O'Brien, man, because this is someone who really, really, really needs to be more in fandoms. Like, honestly, like apparently she was just in Ant-Man and the Wasp. She was in Z Nation on Sci-Fi, which was a very underappreciated show, by the way. Z Nation, actually, for as goofy as it was a good alternative to The Walking Dead if you wanted something that was a little bit sillier. She was also on Black Lightning, and she was on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So she's been around. But unfortunately, I think that she has been that cool background character that, her, but I think that this could be what kind of gets her to more of a limelight, I think.
I just wish they hadn't spent so much time dragging out the betrayal story, because it really did.
This was a very long story. This was very long.
It was just like, when are we getting to something interesting? I mean, I get that they're trying to do the scene setting. They're trying to show you what the New Republic looks like and how it's supposed to be different than
but it's actually
the way the Empire was. But they're still just along the same lines, trying to give us that whole theme of any big governmental influence is going to be corrupt or bad in some level, whatever. But they could have done it faster.
Yeah,
and
that happy
what I came here to see was the Mandalorian, and
I want to know what's going on with the mythosaur.
They dangled the real good stuff in front of our faces and went, nope, you can't have it now. I'm like,
well, the one thing that I think that they did do, and I've seen this written in other places, and I probably, instead of just saying, oh, I've seen this written in other places, I should probably cite the sources. But this is actually kind of setting up how we got the Palpatine clones, which pisses me off.
No one cares about.
Because number one, who gives a flying frog fuck about Last of Skywalker? Number one.
We're trying to get rid of those, like those whole series of movies. Just we're forgetting those existed.
Well, not only that, but Melinda, you've heard me flip out about this before. The expanded universe of Star Wars already answered the questions of Palpatine's clones.
But none of that exists anymore.
Which is bullcrap. In the books.
Yeah, I know.
Palpatine had multitudes of clones, and they were perfected clones. And his essence would go to one when the body died. Do you really think this super genius, evil, diabolical Sith Lord is going to have imperfect clones to jump into? No, because he is a megalomaniac.
He was the one who engineered the whole clones to begin with, working with the Kaminoans. So they already had perfected cloning.
Why do you need this nudnik? And I'm sorry, look, I get it. Jon Favreau and Kathleen Kennedy are doing the best that they can. But Kathleen Kennedy, you are kind of the reason why we have this. So this is kind of on you. Jon
Favreau is trying to make sense of what Kathleen Kennedy gave him. He got handed this, and I was like, all right, let's figure out a way to make this connect.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, if I were given the keys to Star Wars the way Kevin Feige was given the keys to Marvel, or James Gunn has been given the keys to DC, I'm like, all right, so Bryan, what's the first thing you're going to do? Okay, you ready for this? You ready for this? Sequel trilogy? Never happened. Okay.
Bring back the EU.
The EU is now canon. And one of the first things that we're going to do an Admiral Thrawn series. Okay.
Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of shovel shit in the EU.
Oh, there's a lot of crap in the EU for sure. But the main things of the EU that I want the Yuuzhan Vong war.
Yes, the Yuuzhan Vong.
I want that war.
Yes,
and you need Thrawn in there for that.
And we need Thrawn. So we need to have Thrawn first.
And Mara Jade.
Yes. My God, we need Mara Jade. I'm telling you right now, The EU had everything set and ready to go.
Why they didn't go with that to begin with, I have no clue. They
Because
had
Disney-
everything completely laid out and they decided, scrap this, we're gonna
They
come up with our own
had
shit.
25 years worth of content that
Mhm,
they could have milked forever.
mhm.
Instead, we get this. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Djarin. Djarin and the Bad Batch are, as well as Rebels, are among the greatest things that we've gotten since
They could have
Disney
been
Pershing.
weaved into what
They
was
could have
already
been
there.
weaved into it.
I think part of it
Exactly.
is when you've got that much material that we have in there, the EU,
Mhm.
is you will inevitably have every single fanboy coming out of the woodwork going, that's not actually how it's written in the book. Or if you look at this book
True.
and that book, like, and you open
But at
yourself
least
up
it
a
was-
lot more to that, then
At least it's referenceable.
But at
Yeah.
least it's referenceable. Like that's why the stuff with The Last of Us, this is why The Last of Us works so well, because they may not have done everything straight from the book, but from the game or the comic, but you could reference it and make it make sense. I swear they literally could have gone with like the first TV series that you could have done after doing all that. You could have done Star Wars, Rise of the New Republic, and then do a spinoff, Rise of the New Jedi Temple.
Mhm.
And then you go into Thrawn, and you can do a series based on that, or a movie. Just do a movie on Thrawn. And then when you're in between that and figuring out how you're going to do the movies, make a TV series based on the Yuuzhan Vong War. Don't make it a movie, make it a series. That way you can tell the right stories, and then you can make the Legacy of the Force films. Granted, those are 9 books. So, hey, why don't you do 5 movies? You can get 5 movies out of it. Stop with the trilogy nonsense, because when you try to shoehorn everything into 3 movies, it's not working.
when you have 3 movies, the middle one always sucks.
Well, except for Empire.
Well, that's true.
Except for Empire. And yeah, but most of the time, yeah, trilogies just aren't the best. So make it 5 movies. All right. You could do the 9-book Legacy of the Force series and make it into 5 movies. Maybe do 6 movies.
You do what Marvel's doing, break it into phases.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can
Yeah.
tell the stories of the Legacy of the Force series in just like that. And then you
And
can
give
go
focal
to,
characters and do the spin-offs like they
Right.
did too. Yeah.
and then later on, you can take it to that next level. And if you need a really, really huge big badge, you have Darth Caedus. Well, guess why Darth Caedus was doing what he was doing? Because he saw the vision of Darth Krayt and he was terrified. That's why he was doing what he was doing, if I recall correctly, because he had that vision of Darth Krayt.
So being that I haven't seen the animated stuff, like, I really dug KOTOR. Is
KOTOR
that done in the
is-
animated, or is it just kind of
No.
referenced?
They have not done anything with the Old Republic, and
Let's
I
make
have
that
been
happen, because that game is fucking fantastic.
Dude.
Pardon my French. You know what?
No.
I'm not going to apologize for it. That
No.
game, I said what I said. That game is fantastic.
Listen, you could do an amazing series based on KOTOR, KOTOR 2, and the Revan series from Star Wars Online, because Revan is one of the most amazing characters. And I'm sorry, whether it's Darth Revan or Jedi Master Revan, Sidious would not stand a chance. Revan would bitch slap Sidious so hard.
Yep.
Like, take the
Again,
worst,
we-
take the
we
worst
had
ass
so
beating
much-
you've ever seen. And that is what Revan would do to Sidious with no problem.
And was there a reason other than creative license, just, egos taking over, that they did not choose to go with the vast amount of material that was available to them?
I think what it was is that they wanted to have their own creative control and license, but it's like, you own everything. You've got the create, but it's like, oh, well, we want to create our own stories and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, but you're not good at it.
Let's see.
you have-
Popular IP, built-in fan base, plenty of stories that are already widely accepted by that fan base, or let's create our own shit and see what happens.
But this is also Disney that has been built upon basically taking long established fairy tales and making them family oriented.
Sure, but those became public domain and they altered them.
Right.
These, they would own these stories, and yet they're
Right.
still altering them for some unknown fucking reason.
And instead of shoehorning and hamstringing Scarlett Johansson into Black Widow and waiting till after her character died to give her a solo movie, guess what? You could have made her Mara Jade Skywalker.
Oh, yes.
And
Yes.
she would have been amazing at it.
I like that. That would be a great casting choice.
And then instead of making Adam Driver frickin' Kylo Ren, he could have been Jason Solo
Mm.
without throwing the temper tantrums.
Who's the other badass redhead?
In
Is it Bryce Dallas Howard?
Yes.
yeah,
Would have made a good Mara Jade too.
she would have. Absolutely. She did a good job taking over as Victoria in Twilight.
She's got
The
producing credits on the
Victoria
Boba Fett
actress
series,
would have been
doesn't
good
she?
too. Was that?
She's directed episodes of Book of Boba Fett.
Okay. I was gonna say, I know
Mara
she's
Jade?
involved.
There she is.
And she could be Mara Jade as well. I mean, there's so many things. Like
Who
there's
needs a
so
crappy
many,
red wig when you've got it naturally?
right.
No.
And you know, like there's so many great things that they could have done,
Yep.
but they didn't.
I mean,
So
look at how we're like totally off of the episode. We're like,
We
let's
are.
talk about
We-
anything
Well,
but the
that'll tell you how
episode.
uninteresting, I guess, the episode was. How
Well-
unremembering, not unremembering.
it wasn't a remarkable episode.
That's the one,
Okay.
unremarkable.
Dr. Pershing gets his mind fucked
He-
over in the
he-
end, right?
She
Get
basically
mindful.
electrocuted his brain into nothing.
So we spent 40 minutes learning about his story for him to be an inconsequential character in the future.
Right. And the thing
Like a waste
is,
of time.
and the thing is that it's not even like she did it sneaky like, because they had the machine set on a particular setting and then she just turned it up. You mean there's no cameras in that room?
No alarms.
There's nothing.
You don't hook up to a heart rate monitor that's going bleep, 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 bleep.
Look, we're not the Empire. We don't micromanage.
Oh, and then another thing, he's a friend. I just want to be here. Dude, if somebody has to get that kind of procedure done,
If
no.
that procedure is as innocuous as they say it is, why would she need to be there for her friend?
Right. It like they've got to explain this, but I don't want them to explain it because we're not even talking about the episode.
Yeah.
So
It was another, like, the theme so far of this season has been, why are we here? I mean, every episode I
screwed-
find myself saying, why am I here? Why?
we
What are we
screwed
doing?
Boba Fett over. So we're gonna do this now. Like, so it was getting interesting because we see, like, who are these pirates that attack Bo-Katan's home? Who are they? Why-
Random.
Yeah, he said something about when you steal their ship. And I'm like, when did we steal a ship?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's been
when
her
did
ship
we
for a
s-
long time. So what ship did she steal?
Yeah, and you got that from your homegirl on Tatooine. So who stole what from who and how now? And then they go back to the Mandalore Safeway, and then Bo-Katan, who didn't even care about their ideologies, are like, yeah, we both bathed them because I had to go in and save them. Number one, why would you say that? Like, if
She's playing the long game. No,
Yeah.
no, she's
If I were
smart.
one-
She's
but
playing the long game.
if I were one of those guys where it was like, yeah, I watched them go in, my first thing would have been, yeah, and you're not even of us, so why should we trust your word? And wait, she had to dive in and save you while you
Well,
were
they-
bathing in the waters?
They said that when he showed up. She's like, I watched him do it. And they're like, who the hell are you?
But then the armorer is just like, oh, you
Just
bathed in
takes
the water and you didn't take
everything.
your helmet off. You're one of us now. It's cool.
Did they run any sort of diagnostics on that water to make sure he didn't just like get some toilet water out of
Okay.
like the
Yeah, she put
There-
it in the pool.
There
and it-
is a
Okay.
thing that's been like circulating around about how the armorer does the armor making, and the little vial of liquid she always pours in when she's tempering the Beskar, and it
Is
glows
from
like
the
that. So I
water.
think that she has some of the living waters. So that was how
Okay.
she was proving it, because
Fair
it had the
enough.
same shimmer.
fair enough, cool. But it's just like,
and I think that's why he brought the water back
yeah,
specifically, because he knew
Mhm.
that he'd be like, I did this. And they're like, yeah,
And,
okay.
and we now know that that's mythosaur pee.
all right. Glad we got the P. Woo! And I just scared okay, leave her alone. Okay, now Odette, I thought I scared her, but she saw the cat. And now my dog's about to get her ass kicked by a cat. Again. So yeah, and that was literally the most important, like the main storyline that we're supposed to be caring about. That was it.
Well, I think my favorite part of the whole episode, I'm not gonna lie, was the cut. I'm taking you somewhere safe. Cut to Coruscant. I was like, what?
Wait, huh? How is this safe? Did we accidentally get
that was a rug pull? That was a rug pull.
I still think that they're doing a backdoor pilot for something. They accidentally edited it into The Mandalorian. But you know what? This is coming from the same platform, the same everything that we got that god awful Willow TV show from.
Oh, it's not been renewed though.
Thank Christ.
I still haven't watched it.
Don't.
You know what? Watch the movie. Get the books off of Amazon and call it a day.
Oh, I did. And
you have no reason to watch that abomination.
We used Willow in my homeschool for my kids. Like nice. We were learning about the hero's journey, and my daughter's like, "What's that?" I said, "Okay, let's watch Willow. This is great." And it was right when the TV show started. I wanted to see the show, so I was like,
"No, you don't."
And then the show, and I didn't watch the show, and now I'm here and don't watch the show.
Never watch that show. Okay, just never.
It's a bad parody.
I won't.
What it is,
and I won't.
No one even
Willow.
At least with Mad Mardigan, you could try to explain why he's the only one that doesn't speak with a British accent. Like maybe he's just not from there or whatever. No one, Willow and Saoirse are like the only ones that really speak with a British accent. They talk like they're in Todayland. And I'm sorry, if you're not going to play any music that is period necessary, like period centered, why are you doing it? And why are you playing horrible cover songs of really good songs? I swear to Christ, if I hear some Gen double Z freaking barely born yet zygote band covering Enter Sandman again, I swear I am going to shoot myself in my carotid artery, because enough is enough.
Tell us how you really feel.
You know me, and I've made a very strong point multiple times about how the music can make the episode. I mean,
it's really jarring how they close every episode like that.
Okay.
Really jarring.
The music of that show is like an unfriendly butt plug. It just is.
You know what, though? Pedro Pascal can only be amazing in so many things. I'm going to take us back to Mandalorian because
Please do. Yeah.
We're just going to keep
we're going to some weird places.
Some weird places. He can you can only be amazing so much of your life, and maybe
your awesomeness can only carry.
We're coming off The Last of Us, and that was fantastic. And
now we're back to this.
He didn't get a chance to be amazing in this episode.
Well, I know they let him film The Last of Us, and I don't know if it happened while they were filming Mandalorian. So I don't know if that is part of why we haven't seen him as much if he was filming Last of Us.
Well, the problem
I don't know what that timeline looks like.
Well, the problem also is that we should have gotten season 3 of The Mandalorian a bit ago, but it was because of COVID that it got pushed back. And because of the schedule being delayed, he moved on to The Last of Us. So I don't even believe that they should have gotten in the way of it. But I mean,
I don't know what that timeline looks like. So I may be totally off base here.
Yeah.
Also,
just making excuses because I love Pedro Pascal.
Not to make it easier, but he's in a suit the whole time. You don't see his face. He's just got to come in for a little voice work.
Voice lines,
dude.
He's not allowed to remove his helmet now.
Dude, he could do that shit over Zoom. Okay.
Literally phoning it in.
Yeah. But the one big positive, the one gigantic positive that I am taking from this season so far, I mean, we've been crapping on this episode so hard. I mean, a big steaming pile of diarrhea on this episode, is that Katie Sackhoff got second billing in this episode, and it looks like we're going to have her for this season, which means that the fact that she's replacing Cara Dune, I can't think of anyone better to replace her with.
Let's
the Bo-Katan show.
Yes.
I'm okay with that.
Bo-Katan show.
I'm good with that.
Let's talk some theory though about what's going on here, because the way she just kind of went along with everything, knowing that she is very much against the Children of the Watch. She left a long time ago, broke with their ideals. The armor has talked shit about her before, so I can assume that the armor was somebody who was important in the Children of the Watch back before everything went to shit.
What if the armor is the Duchess?
No.
Oh, sorry, she's dead.
It's not the Duchess. There, I can't remember the character's name, but there was
It'd be
another
nice if
chick
she was.
who was a badass fighter who was close. I wouldn't say close with her, but was, when they were on the same team fighting together, and who was really upset when she left.
Right. I don't remember her name either.
For Bo-Katan to just walk right in and it's all good. I'm going to follow the rules right now, or I'm just going to go along with it right now. And for the armor to also be like, yeah, sure, you're one of us. What's going on there?
I'll tell you what, that's very interesting. I think there's a lot more to the armor than we realize. There's so much more to her. I love her as a character because number one, Emily Swallow is amazing.
Swallow is fantastic.
I love Emily Swallow. She is so amazing. You want to know how I love Emily Swallow? I have not once made fun of her last name. And it's like right there.
Respect.
Yeah. I mean, that it's not even just that it's low-hanging fruit, because we all know that I am not above low-hanging fruit. But I respect her as an actress. I respect her talent. I mean, come on, man.
Don't step out of line or Dean's coming for you.
She's the twin sister of God, man. She deserves all the respect. And she was in The Last of Us Part 2. So, yeah. There is so much more to her than I think we realize. And I really think that what she's going to bring to the table is going to be far more interesting, far more frightening than we realize. And I think sooner rather than later, we're going to see her pull off some badassery. We really are.
See, I kind of got the impression they both went along with it because, like, they just bombed her house.
She ain't got nothing else.
She was just at Mandalore, where her entire family and civilization was dust.
Yeah.
And then they bombed her house, and now she's on the run.
Mm-hmm.
And
what else is she? It's like, well, what else am I
better than no Mandalorian?
But she's a character that historically has been on her own, has found ways to fit into places when needed to. Like, she's really resourceful.
If there's nobody to rule, who are you ruling?
That's not a bad point.
Okay, all right.
That's not a bad point.
Let me touch on that.
Okay, please.
When they started the episode, she asked, did you see anything when you were in the water? Did you see anything alive? Which Djarin said no, or didn't really give a committal yes or no. She knows
what it means.
One, having the dark saber is a way of ruling. Two, taming the mythosaur, riding the mythosaur is a way of ruling. And the mythosaur rising again is supposed to be the heralding of a new prosperity for the Mandalorians. Is she playing along so that she can get back there, become the one who does this before anyone else notices? Because it's going to come out that if Din Djarin was able to go there and get the waters, the other people can go back too.
That's a good point. I think that she is really wanting to, she wants to see the rise of Mandalore again by hook or by crook. And she's going to do that by any means necessary. And I think that, I think she's throwing her hat in the ring with these cats to get to that point. She's like, you know what? You got to get along to go along. I just had a whole crew destroy my house. I can't fight them alone.
But by making sure that nobody else saw the mythosaur, that didn't see it, ensuring that she's the only one that knows this secret.
Yeah. But I don't think that she's going to, I think that she's going to stay loyal to Mando. She's going to screw over the armor and the rest of them. She is. But I think that she has a bit of an attachment to Mando and Grogu. Because, I mean, come on, Grogu, who can't love Grogu? She loves Grogu because she she looks after him. I think that she is going to try to slowly start to try to convert Din Djarin to her way of thinking. That's what I think.
Which would put him at odds with the rest of his group, though.
Yeah, but I think that if she is able to tame the Mythosaur, they're gonna fall in line. I mean, you've got the one that wields the Darksaber, even though badly, but he wields it, and she's tamed the Mythosaur. You want to talk about a power couple? Yeah, no matter how bad he is at it, you've got a power couple right there.
So then, does that mean that Grogu is meant to be the next ruler? They're essentially the parents. The parents. They're providing the influence.
Possibly, because you notice Din Djarin is teaching him everything he knows, and Grogu is learning. I mean,
how they can get a helmet fit over those ears, though?
I don't know. That is
gonna have
good
to put
question.
slits for the ears.
There you go. Or either that, or you're just gonna have to like have his helmet and his ears are just gonna. He's gonna have to use the Force to like make him go straight up, and then.
But he's not gonna be a helmet wearing Mandalorian. Like the new era, the new rules, the new way of doing things.
Can you imagine
he might have little baby armor, but maybe he won't have the helmet.
Oh my god, it's gonna look so cute, his little Beskar armor.
I feel like he'll need a helmet either way. It's can he take it off?
Yeah. And yeah, that's a big question, because the children of the Watch are very adamant that you cannot whatsoever. But then you have Bo-Katan, who she's not in that same camp. They still wear the armor. They still feel the importance of the armor. They still understand the importance of being a warrior, but they take that off when the time comes to.
Yeah. And I mean, especially, I'm looking this up as we speak, because I want to give credit where credit is due. I'm trying to see what if Anakin Skywalker was a Mandalorian.
What?
There was actually a video story, and it's courtesy of Pente Patrol Star Wars. Pente Patrol Star Wars. And
not what I thought you said. I'm glad you clarified.
He did a story called "What If Anakin Skywalker Was a Mandalorian?" And it was a very, very cool story. And it actually involved Duchess Satine. Bo-Katan had a very, very small role in it. He wasn't Force sensitive. He was a Mandalorian and he actually killed Paz Vizsla. He killed Paz Vizsla when he was still on the Death Watch, because he murdered his father. And he did another story recently, a little bit after that. What if Anakin was a Mandalorian Jedi, that I have not watched yet? The reason why I bring that up, though, is because the Children of the Watch, that's a very small sect of Mandalorians. It's a small sect, because Mandalore as a whole were more like Bo-Katan. They wore their armor and they were a warrior race. At the time, they were shifting from being warriors to trying to be, political, peaceful, but having warriors just in case. But yeah, they wore their armor, but they took it off when times weren't needed, when it wasn't needed. So I think Katie is right that she's sort of just playing the sides. And I think that because they have a lot of time until Grogu is old enough to be in armor.
I think that the drama is going to come out where we're going to see Bo-Katan shift again.
Yes.
She's learned hard lessons, but she still wants to rule. She still wants to bring Mandalore back to glory, but she's going to have to give that up at some point. I think she's going to still keep trying, but it's not going to work. And she'll ultimately finally realize that, the next person to come along, whether it's Grogu, whether it's Din Djarin, is better suited for the position, and she's better as the advisor, but it won't be initially. She's still going to have that streak of, I can make this work.
Yeah. I think that she's a very tragic character, because her idea of serving her people is to rule. She misses the lessons from her sister. Her sister only ruled because that was her role, where Bo-Katan once she wants to serve her people, but she wants the power that comes with it. Where Duchess Satine was willing to accept that role because that was the best way she could serve her people. It's like two sides of the same coin with that desire. I think that Bo-Katan is going to have to learn that, yeah, like you said, she's going to have to take that advisory role, because sometimes the advisor to the ruler is actually the one that's ruling. We've seen that in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Oh my God, don't even
The
get me
Puppet
started.
King.
Don't
I
even
just
get me
restarted
started
Game
on
of
House
Thrones.
of Dragon. You did?
I never watched season 8, and I have
Oh,
not watched House of the
You could have
Dragon.
you
No.
could have gone
Right.
without both
And
of
I didn't.
those.
I did not watch season 8. Have not watched House of the Dragons, but
Don't even get me started on
I had
House
a
of the
bee in my
Dragon.
bonnet, and I'm like, I'm gonna restart Game of Thrones.
Oh my God.
House of the Dragons was fun. I like
House
that
of
one.
Dragons, I don't know. It's just so like, I mean, House of Dragon, I didn't hate it. I was kind of into it. It was just, bro, that's your niece.
Mhm.
And
Well,
you're
I
just
mean,
laying
that's the
pipe
entire
on your
Targaryen way.
you're laying pipe on your niece
Yeah,
like
it's the
you
entire
weren't
Targaryen
just
way. It's
Yeah.
it's very like, honestly, it's very
crazy.
historically European. So with bartender Smiley on vacation this week, bartender
Yeah.
Boba stepping in.
I love it, bartender.
So what can
Boba.
I get you?
I love it. I love it. All right, so let's give our reviews on this episode. Let's start with you know what, we'll go Katie, Melinda, and I'll go last.
I'll be honest, I needed the full 5 shots to get through it.
Yeah, I kind of had a feeling you were gonna go there.
Yep.
Melinda.
3.
Ooh, I sometimes I think a 3 shot, I think a middle of the road is actually worse, because it's just like you are just so unmemorable. You weren't important enough for me to like commit suicide via drinking.
But here's why. It's my same argument I made for that Last of Us episode.
Okay.
You have to, in every series, every show, you have 1 or 2 shitty episodes by themselves. You're like, what the hell is going on here? But the payoff in the end, you don't get.
Makes up for it.
Yeah, you don't get the payoff at the end without this. And like, I know you and I are gonna do the Winchesters this coming Monday.
Yeah.
I got some pretty strong opinions, and it's gonna be very similar to this. Is that to get the payoff that we want, to get the villain setup that we want, or the redemption arc, or wherever we're going, we had to trudge through the mud to get there. And it was like, you guys, I know I like Book of Boba Fett. I know you guys did not. But it was a lot of the same. Like, I'm here for the Mando story, but it's nice and refreshing every now and then, like with the Bill and Frank and with Ellie's backstory, to have a different, what is going on in this universe? Or is like Mando and Baby Yoda the only ones that live here?
Yes.
I like hearing the
Yeah, she just said yes.
I like the universe building. I like the expansion of it. And in the end, did this doctor matter? Probably not. Did his TEDx speech matter? Probably not. But she's gonna matter. And who she's working for is gonna matter.
I can get your point.
You don't get that without sitting through. Could it have been shorter? Yeah, probably. But then we'll have filler of some other kind.
That's not a bad point. And I think you're right. I think that seeing what is going on in the universe is important, because I was wondering what the hell ever happened to Moff Gideon. You know, how do you have Giancarlo Esposito just show up and then just forget about him? You get that
throwaway line. I hear he escaped. No, I hear it was this. And it's like, okay. And that's why I'm like, I think that's a red herring. I really don't think we're going to get back to Moff Gideon. It's, my gut when that was over was, all right, Thrawn's coming. That's what we're going to get Thrawn.
Here's the thing. But if Thrawn is coming, you know who else is coming? Ezra Bridger.
Yep.
Because they were taken out into deep space together. And I'm sorry, Thrawn, as badass as he is, he ain't killing Ezra Bridger.
No, because he's smart.
Yeah.
It doesn't make tactical sense. He won't do it.
So you're going to get all the casual views going, oh, we're going to get Moff Gideon back. We're going to get Giancarlo Esposito back. And don't get me wrong, Giancarlo Esposito is fantastic.
The man is
I loved him in The Boys, like treasure. Everything he's in. He's awesome.
Dude, I have loved Giancarlo Esposito since he was bugging out in Do the Right Thing. Okay. I've loved me some Giancarlo Esposito.
But you can't get to that, and you can't get to the epic what we expect now at this point from Mando's story until you get those slower, why the hell am I here episodes.
You're
I'll
not
just keep
wrong.
drinking through them.
She said, I'll just keep drinking.
See, now I have to show up next week with another Star Wars like helmet surprise. Maybe not.
And
a
it was
helmet,
it was pre-Vizsla that I was thinking about that Anakin killed in
Blue
that
milk.
story.
Next week,
Pre-Vizsla.
that's what I'm drinking. Blue milk.
There we go.
Pre-Vizsla, who's the father of Paz Vizsla. Paz
And Paz
Vizsla
Vizsla was the big Mandalorian, like the
Yeah.
Paz Vizsla is the giant.
yeah,
the
his-
one with the chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
the one that knocked Mando around.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
His father, Pre-Vizsla, was the leader of Death Watch, that he had the dark saber for a time.
Right. And that's why he whooped Mando's ass, because he said, this used to be mine, and it's gonna be mine again.
Yeah. So my rating for this, I'm gonna make this a royal flush, and I'm gonna go 4 shots, because I understand both of your points and they are both extremely valid. And I'll tell you the truth, I feel the exact same on each one. This episode was very much so, what did I do to deserve this? Why am I here? Why? But at the same token, if this gets me either Moff Gideon or Thrawn, woo, I'll take it.
Ron,
Not-
I will give a pass for, but we already had Moff Gideon be the super big bad. He had his time to shine. We need something new. So it
Yeah.
better be Thrawn if we're gonna get to slog through the mud.
And I'll tell you what, I better not see another Skywalker show up in this show. I swear to God. You know what? Luke showing up in the season finale of season 2, that was cool. I dug it. But I am sick of Skywalkers. You
Yes.
know what? I boycott the Skywalkers. You know what? If you have Sky anywhere in your name, if your last name is Walker, other than being a Texas Ranger, I want nothing to do with you.
Wait, are you like equal opportunity Texas Ranger Walker, or are you strictly a
Hey, I'm all for both Cordells.
Okay.
I'm a fan of both Cordells.
we were gonna come to words if you said something else.
No.
I'm glad you chose not violence.
The only time I dislike Jared Padalecki was in Cheaper by the Dozen, because he was kind of a dick in that.
I don't know that I've seen that. I haven't seen that. My list of crap I haven't seen that you're disappointed in me for is growing. So
I'm a little disappointed. It's kind of like talking to Sharon.
What if we get an Ahsoka though?
I always have 20 minutes to an hour prepared for Rosario Dawson. I always do. Even though, and I've always said this, I don't know why I get hung up on stupid things. Because, like, here's the thing. I think Rosario Dawson is probably one of the most underappreciated actresses of her time. She
Yeah.
truly is. She's an amazing
can see that.
actress. She is so much more versatile than I ever thought she was. And in the last, like, 15, 16 years, like, she's come a long way since Men in Black 2. A long way since Men in Black 2. And I'll tell you what, I will always have time for her. When they cast her as Ahsoka Tano, I was like, I like this. So yeah, I'm all for some Ahsoka showing up. And I'll tell you what, I will watch the Ahsoka show. Well, Tann Talks Ahsoka.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all for that.
I need to know, have you guys seen the Baby Yoda cake bites?
No.
No. Oh my gosh. I don't know how to. So cake bites, they make these little, they're like Petit Four size cakes,
Okay.
and they have Baby Yoda on them, and they're green. I would have them. I would go get some out of the fridge, but my kids just ate the last 2 packages.
Savages.
Right, but they're green and they're really cute, and they have Mandalorian like Djarin ones that are chocolate. And my friend just sent me a picture that I'm hoping is not fan art, but it's Darth Vader, and it's got red frosting in between with black chocolate cakes.
Mm.
So I'm gonna try to get my hands on some, and I will
Gluten-free.
display them.
Gluten and dairy free for me, if you please.
Well, that if I make them, yes, but as it
Yay.
comes packaged, I don't.
Yeah,
But I have a dairy free blue milk recipe if you want it.
yes, I do. Yes, I do.
We made that for May the 4th last year.
I'm just waiting on it to get warm again so I can wear my red, yellow, and green hat because I'm always wearing hats. But the hat that Melinda made me, it's too light to wear in the wintertime. So I have to wear heavier hats.
Thin.
So, but when we're consistently at 60 degrees, I'm gonna get back to wearing it. So yeah. All right. So there you have it. That's where, granted, we did with this episode what they did in their episode. We Boba Fetted the hell out of this episode. We talked
how
about.
Did they get here before us? Well, it counts. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
We have new groove for this episode.
It's true. So please, if you're into this episode, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the Plotaholics YouTube channel, where you're going to be getting Tann Talks. And then you know what? As time goes on, maybe we'll do a separate Tann Talks YouTube channel. Who knows? But for now, we're keeping the Plotaholics alive. And this is the way we're going to do it. Katy, this is the way. So, Katy, what do you have going on? What do you have going on the podcasting, YouTubing side of things? Anything coming up lately?
We got a new episode of Spilling Ink coming up this week. We're running about twice a month now.
Awesome. All right, so make sure you guys, if you're into indie authors, anything indie related at all, go to Spilling Ink, go to the YouTube channel, like, subscribe, so you can get notified whenever Katy and Ms. Taylor, if you're nasty, shows up to talk anything and everything indie. And Melinda, you and I are going to be talking the Winchesters.
Yes, I'm so excited.
So
I'm the biggest Supernatural fangirl. Like, people will come at me about that. I'm sure there are way bigger fans than me. But yeah.
We'll see. I'm going to get a tattoo.
Here's my son spotlighting on the podcast. There he is.
Photobomb.
They just got home. They have a show tomorrow night, so they had for St. Patrick's Day.
Gotcha.
So they had an extra practice tonight to make sure that they're ready for that.
Well, I'll tell you what, talking about loving Supernatural, I will be getting the protection sigil right here. As soon as I get the money for it, I'm going to get it right here. And then I'm going to see if I can get an angel to put it on my bones.
Did I ever send you the key fob that I made for Supernatural?
No, you did not.
It says, in case of emergency, puncture here. And it's a key fob and it's got salt inside.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
I actually I have the red sigil on my car. And I have like a sticker of both brothers on the back of the car as well. So my car is safe.
So we got to go on Saturday, which is totally off topic, and I'll talk about this more Monday. I live not far from Family Business Brewing Company, which is out in Dripping Springs, Texas. It's about an hour and 15, hour and 20 for me, and it's co-owned by Jensen and Daniil, and I think their brother-in-law. But this past Saturday was a haunting of Impalas. So there were 8 or 9 screen accurate Impalas there, and the people that own them and take care of them, and the yellow gremlin that Charlie drives to the bunker.
Yeah.
That was there too. That was there too. And I got some really cool pictures. It was really, really neat.
Oh, Felicia Day. I love her so. I love Felicia Day. You know what? We're watching Angel now, but we finished Buffy. And I was like, Charlie, I forgot she was in season 7
Buffy too, right?
I forgot.
Yep.
Yes, he was. He was in season 4. He was in the very first episode of season 4 as Eddie. And then I'm sorry, Pedro Pascal should never go without facial hair ever again. For such a beautiful man, without facial hair, he looks like a chud.
And is anybody else loving the meme format? I swear it's my favorite thing on the internet right now. It's the clip from the Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent when they're in the car and Cage looks horrified, and then there's Pedro Pascal. Like,
that movie was so much
everything.
better.
It's like, my husband that he has to cook dinner because I'm podcasting with my friends. Me knowing I'm wearing a Boba Fett helmet. It's so good. It's my favorite thing. If you haven't seen it, try to find a clip. They're fantastic.
All right, I'll find that.
I sent you one.
Yeah, you did. No, you did. And I'll tell you what, I'm a fan.
Katy, I'm not friends with you on Facebook, or I'd send one to you. So I'm going to fix that problem now.
There we go.
There you go. So, all right. So we're going to put a pin in this one. So next week we're going to get together. We're going to start recording these on Thursdays. it's just easier for everybody to make it work on Thursdays. So we will be talking Book of Boba Fett. Sorry. We will be talking
Freudian slip.
we will be talking Book of the Mandalorian, the Republic politic game, every Thursday. 8:30. We'll start 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, and hopefully we'll be able to live stream it next week. We'll get that all figured out. But with that being said, thanks everyone for joining us, and we'll talk to you guys next week. This is the way.